technical difficulties. But welcome y'all to all of my podcasts. I am Goddess Asha Mariama. And those of y'all who don't know my podcast, they are Finding Your Inner Peace and Tranquility. The happier you leads to a healthier you. Um, it's you minding your own business with self-respect leads to self-love. Um, it is also the old you versus the new you. It's also from darkness to light. Um, African melanin queens, perfectly imperfected radio podcast, opening Pandora's box, and you are what you consume, and also my YouTube channels as well. So I just wanted to just take the time to say hello. I don't feel like being seen. I had a tooth. The reason that y'all have not heard from me this week on any of my podcasts is because I had a toothache. I had a tooth pulled. So I have been miserable the past couple days and my face was really swollen and it was hard for me to talk. So I wasn't really able to do any podcast. So I decided to post this one, and I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but this one is how I can post all of my podcasts all at one time, and I'm just going to do them all at one time because today I just want to go ahead and do it because I want to take the next couple days to recuperate, and by Sunday I'll be right back to my regular schedule program. So I wanted to apologize to y'all for the fact that I was not able to do my podcast this week due to having a toothache and getting my tooth pulled. So I wanted to go ahead and just tell y'all that. But today's topic, I'm not going to go into the spill. Normally I do an introduction. I just don't want to do it today. I just want to be rugged and raw and real today. And I want to talk about finding your way back to you by letting go of what doesn't serve you. Some of use me. How did I find my way back to me and being the person I want to be for once and getting rid of who and what does not serve me? When God pulled me from the world in 2017, I would say, I remember when I got really sick in November. That's when it started. November was when I started getting really sick because I took some medication that a doctor prescribes, and it ended up making me really, really sick to the point that I almost died. And I remember I didn't know whether I should go to the hospital, what I should do. And I remember that I was like, I'm not ready to go. I still got more stuff that, I need to do. I don't want to leave. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go now. I got too much living I got to do, too many things that I really want to do, things that I need to take care of. And I remember God just telling me, go to sleep. So I went to sleep. So when I went to sleep and I got some rest, I woke up the next morning. I was 150% better. But that was because I trusted God when God told me to go to sleep. God said, I got you. I just want you to go to sleep. I just want you to get some rest. And that's all I want you to do. I don't want you to do anything more, anything less, except go to sleep. I trusted God. I fell asleep. And here we are. I'm still here. I'm still alive. I'm still here. Now, in 2018, I wasn't able to drive. My driving was taken away from me. 1 minute I was driving. I went to my mama's house. I hit the back of my head, drove. Next thing I know, I had a really bad panic attack. It was to the point at first I thought it was nothing. Then I pulled over, sat there for a couple minutes, got home. The next day, from that day forward, I wasn't able to drive. I was having anxiety every time I drove and didn't even know why. Went from that to finding out the dude that I was dealing with stole from me, took altogether about over $10,000 from me. From that to meeting a guy that introduced me to a man that will forever change my life, and going after a sex cult, being harassed, bullied, stalked, and doxxed while I'm going through while I'm going through something that I don't even know what it is and why my whole entire body changed. Went from that to becoming a life coach, becoming a coach. Then it went from that to trying to figure out how to become a coach, having somebody scam me out of $1,200 for a website that was never actually put up. Yeah, it was really interesting to say the least. It was really, 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 really interesting when all of this happened. Went from that to where I am today. I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery. I have a cyst in my kidneys, and I had to get a tooth pulled. Go figure. Go figure the fact that you have to go get a tooth pulled. And I never thought the tooth would be the reason why my throat was swelling, but that was the reason. Now I know it's gonna take me some time because my throat has been having issues for the past almost 4 or 5 years. And now that I'm taking the antibiotics, it is making it a lot better, but there's still a little bit of swelling. There's still some swelling in certain places, but it is getting better. Thank God for that. So I still may have to get my ears checked, but for my throat part, that part is done. But while I was on this journey, a lot of people that I tried to hold on to are no longer in my life. So I realized that there was a reason for that. There was a reason why these people are no longer in my life anymore. While I was on this journey and while I was going through it, God has something else for me. Now, was this a very easy journey? No, it wasn't. It was hard. So, my recovery was based upon it took me being shut down physically to realize the damage that I was doing to myself. The way I was destroying myself by trying to be a seat filler, captain, save a hole, build a bear, build a ball, and a people pleaser. That's how I got here. So it took me getting going to the hospital, having emergency surgery for my gallbladder. It took me having chronic pain. It took me it took me not being able to drive, having vision problems because of my glasses not being correct, for me to realize how much damage I was doing to myself. I realized that all these men that I was sleeping with, I should have never slept with in the first place. I realized that all these times I'm waiting around for somebody to go on trips with me and waiting around to be a part of my life, I should have just waited for God to bring the people that were supposed to be in my life. I should have never, ever in my life went and tried to be a part of something that I was never supposed to be a part of in the first place. I wish I would have went ahead and finished college, got me a good job. I wish I would have traveled more. I wish I would have seen what was out there first and lived my life before I had a kid at 2022. So it gave me time to sit still. It gave me time to really evaluate my situation. And I realized all these people that were in my life are not in my life now. They're no longer there. So in the end, why did I even bother to bring people in my life that are no longer in my life now? And I'm not talking about death wise. I'm talking about people that used and abused and did all these negative things to me. They're not there. So what I want people to understand is that there will come a time where God gonna shut you down. And God gonna make you realize that He's pulling you from the world because of the fact of the world tearing you to shreds. A lot of times we'll go through things and we'll just say, oh, we're not gonna do this again. We're not going to do that again. And we end up doing it again anyway. We end up doing things that we know are wrong, but because of the love of somebody, and because we want to be liked, appreciated, valued, wanted, needed, to be a part of something, to be validated, to be approved of, to be accepted, for somebody to know your worth and prove it to people, you'll go against everything that is right to do something wrong. You'll give your body to somebody that is not even trying to marry you. You're letting these people convince you to do spin the bottle when you were 16, smoking when you were 14. I remember DMX talked about how he ended up doing heroin the first time. You got people out here committing crimes. You got people out here doing all kind of things, not only to themselves, but to other people, just because you want to be loved, liked, appreciated, valued, wanted, needed, to be a part of something, to be validated, to be approved of, to be accepted, if somebody know your worth. You want to be Captain Save-A-Ho, build a bear, build a doll, see Phyllis, people please so bad that you will destroy everything that is right to do something wrong. And that, unfortunately, is the sad part about it. And I get the fact that you want to be a part of something. But my thing is, the minute that somebody tell me no, now, I don't want to be a part of it. The minute you say something negative to me, we're not having a conversation at all. You can't tell my story because you weren't there. But yet people will believe what other people tell people about somebody else's story, somebody else's situation that you don't even know. And you haven't even had a conversation with this person. And yet you think that you know their story. Like this person did an autobiography, or this person did a movie about their life. My whole thing is, a person has the right to talk about their life. They have the right to write their book about their life. The problem is, people will go right behind you and try to verify who you're referring to. So even if you change the names, they're going to try their best to figure out, who are you referring to? Who are you talking to? That's what they're going to do. But through this journey of being alone, I still can be in the world, but not be a part of it. I've been in the world by social media, not by literally being out there, but through social media. That's how I was able to see what was going on in the world. And that kind of was a good thing, because it got me to see what I would have been in if I'd have been out in the world. So for example, when I watch the news and I see all these drivers who can't drive and they end up in all these accidents, and I'm like, that could be me. I could be the person in that situation. I could be the person that's going through that. So that can happen. So I just want people to understand this stuff can actually happen. So when you let go of what was and focus on what is and what will be, then that's what you need to do. So I wouldn't be worried about all this other stuff that really, tell you the truth, don't even matter. So it's just like everything that happened to them people that was out. I forgot, they went to a movie theater and something bad happened. So when it comes down to the situation, I'm not really surprised by this at all. It don't surprise me at all. So when you got stuff like that happening and you're like, well, wait a minute, that could have been me. Just like I was in surgery, and then a couple days after I had surgery, Kobe Bryant passed away. That could have been me. So you never know what could be you and what not could be you. And the fact that you're being spared, that is a blessing within itself. The fact that you got another day on this planet. Some people are burying people today. And a lot of people are sitting up here doing people dirty. So I just want people to understand that when it comes down to recovery, it ain't what you've been taught. It ain't. It's a whole different structure And it's a whole different situation. So give me 1 second. I'm going to bring YouTube in here. So, hi YouTube. How are y'all doing? Me, I'm doing good. I'm on my podcast currently, and we're talking about finding your way back to you by letting go of who and what does not serve you. Okay? Now, when it comes to recovery and when it comes to healing, I need people to understand it is not what people are telling you. It ain't. There are stages that you go through in recovery in order to make a full recovery. It's just like I got my tooth pulled, for example. Hey, y'all, come in the room. Just like I got my tooth pulled the other day. And when I got my tooth pulled, they told me I had to wash my mouth out with salt and water. I couldn't eat certain things. And I had to follow the directions. Well, yesterday I forgot to do the salt water. I forgot to do it. But I did it today because I happened to find a piece of paper. But if I wouldn't have followed those instructions, I probably would have an infected tooth. Well, guess what? Mentally is no different. When it comes to getting over things, I need y'all to stop feeling like you have to rush to get over something you don't. You don't have to rush to grieve. You don't have to rush into something else. Like some people say, the best way to get over somebody else, to get over one person, is to be up under somebody else. No, that would be a lie. That's not going to make you feel better. That's going to be worse because you're trying to numb the pain. You can't numb pain. Numbing pain is only temporary. Just like when they give you Tylenol, they give you ibuprofens, they give you Motrins, they give you antibiotics. It's only a temporary fix. It's not a permanent fix. It's not going to permanently solve your problem. So it's no different than you have people that go through divorce, and the first thing somebody want to do is jump into something else. Hey, y'all. But jumping into something else doesn't change what already happened to you. It's like you're acting like it didn't happen. Let me break something down to y'all. You can't act like what happened to you did not happen. It happened to you. What happened to you when you were a child, when you were MO'd or SA'd, what happened to you when you were a child, when you were neglected or you were abused, it happened to you. You cannot act like it didn't happen. And the problem is everybody wants you to act like what happened to you didn't happen. And I finally figured out why. The reason they do that because it's easier for people to manipulate you that way. When people break your self-esteem by making it seem like what you're going through doesn't matter, that's how people control you. That's how people can manipulate you. Because what happens is, let's say, for example, my son came in and said, Mommy, I've been bullied at school. What is the first thing you're going to say? Ignore it and act like it didn't happen. That is not what you tell your child. Because the first thing I'm doing is going straight to the school, number one. I'm going to find out whose child it is, and we're going to be in the office with their parents. And we're going to have a conversation because their parents going to explain to me why my child is being bullied. Number two, I'm going to make sure if they have a cell phone, that they turn the cell phone on. And you turn it, because as long as they can hear the voices, that's all that matters. Turn your phone on and turn it. Because I'm not leaving my child in a school where they're being bullied. I'm not doing it. I am pulling my child out of that school. And if I have to homeschool my child, I'm going to do what I have to do to protect my child. I don't want my child ending their life because I sent them back to a school and I'm saying, oh, just ignore it, act like it didn't happen. No. Y'all put these expectations on these kids about making straight A's. Making straight A's for what? What are the straight A's going to do when they go into the real world? Nothing. Nothing. So you want to make your child have straight A's. What are they getting for it? What are they getting for making straight A's when none of that's going to matter when they graduate? When they go into the real world, they're going to get straight A's? No. Are they going to, if they test you, it's just to test you when it comes to your job, but what do you get for it? Nothing. You get nothing for making straight A's. My thing is, as long as my child can learn something and they tell me what they've learned throughout the year, because some kids ain't interested in social studies, some kids ain't interested in science. So I don't understand why it is y'all tell people, oh, just suck it up and act like it didn't happen. No, you don't suck it up and act like it didn't happen. Because that's how people will continue to take advantage of you. They will continue to hurt you, and they will continue to do it. Why? Because you keep thinking this is love. Love is putting your hands on me. Love is you basically manipulating, bamboozling, and leading me astray and leading me somewhere. And that is not the way to go. Nobody should be sitting up here allowing somebody to put their hands on you, and you keep going back because you think that's what love is. That is not love. Anybody who hits you, anybody who cheats on you, anybody does anything behind your back does not love you. Anybody that tries to manipulate you to do against everything that is right, to do something wrong, does not love you, and they don't. So every person in the Bible basically, essentially, distance themselves from the world. They distance themselves from God. Moses did it. Job did it. Samson did it. David did it. The other David did it. Paul did it. Peter did it. Solomon did it. Every single person that was chosen by God was alone with God for at least 40 days. And we don't even know what 40 days equivalates to in that time. So if people are being removed from you, let them be removed. Unless it's death, let them be removed. It's just like when you put a welcome mat in front of your door. Do you know you might be letting in demons? When you put that welcome mat in front of that door, you don't know what you're letting in that door. You don't know what spirits come with a person. You don't know what spirits or what's attached to them. It's just like, what if I told you that attraction is demonic? What if I told you that being attracted to somebody based on physical is demonic? What if I told you being attracted to somebody sexually is demonic? It goes against everything that is of God. But yet our whole society is based upon attraction. Yet we still have the porn industry, the sex industry, and all these other things. But you wonder why people can't stay married. I need y'all to understand, the same way they want you to do the right thing is the same thing they put influences right there in front of you. Temptation. I remember when the Devil's Advocate came out in 1998. And I remember Al Pacino said something that was so godforsaken, profound. I was like, oh my God. And then I think about 2000 and I said, I do see how the devil took over the world. He said, what did he say? I'm trying to think of how he said it. He said, the 2000s will be mine. He said, I am a fan of man. I feed into every man's wants and desires. It didn't hit me then what that meant, but it hit me now that wants are actually demonic. I was like, oh, that go deep. Because God gives you what you need. The devil gives you what you want and what you desire. Because when he was talking about Mary Ann, and he said, you could have saved her. He said, you were so busy worried about your ego, and you felt like she was holding you back, that you allowed what happened to her to happen. Because you were too busy worrying about not losing a case. So losing a case was more important than your wife's sanity. Honey, it go deep. Recovery go deep. Because when you start researching and you away from everybody and nobody's giving you advice and nobody's telling you what to do, you research more. When you alone, you research more. People that are overthinkers, I'm going to tell you why they're overthinkers. They're overthinkers because they don't want to go through nothing. They're protecting themselves. So the reason they overthink is because they done been through so much trauma as a child They don't want to go through it as an adult. The reason why some people are so emotionally intelligent, because people took their emotions for weaknesses. Now they don't give them to you. And then y'all wonder why some people now, when you look at them, they were like, you don't never cry. I have no more tears to cry at this point. So recovery is about seeing things for what they are. When you consume and you take on things, as far as what you acknowledge, your decisions are based upon that. So whatever you consume, whatever you acknowledge, determines your actions, your behavior, your choices, and decisions. So in recovery, mentally, is more so, is this worth me doing this? What are the consequences, repercussions, and karma if I do this? Is this something that if I do this, not only will jeopardize me, but will jeopardize the people around me? Will it impact and affect me? And not only that, for those of y'all that be doing stuff behind people's back, like infidelity, talking behind somebody's back, let me explain something to you. You don't love the people you deal with. Because anytime you go behind somebody's back, not only do you talk about them, not only do you use them, not only do you take advantage of them, you don't love them at all. These people don't love you. They did what they did because they wanted to. They were able to. The opportunity presented itself, and that's what they did. Point blank, period. Ain't nothing else to it. They did what they did because that was what they wanted to do. And while you're sitting there doing the right thing, that person is screwing you over. While you're sitting here lowering yourself to build everybody else and their mama up, they ain't doing nothing but basically being built for somebody else. You are building for somebody else, just the same way your parents are building you for your husband, your jobs, your friends, or whoever. Your parents also build you to work. Just like with, who was it? Elon Musk's mama said, the whole point of having kids is to create workers. That's all you're doing. You're creating workers. So let's use common sense for a minute. Let's say, for example, that instead of our children dating, let's say we don't never introduce dating to our children, and we wait until they turn 25 to start dating. That these kids are not going to prom. I'm going to go deep here. Let's say the kids go to prom, but we the ones that take them. Instead of some boy taking them, we actually take them to prom. We're actually there. So instead of some boy picking them up, we're actually dropping them off. We're actually picking them up. Let's say, for example, for argument's sake, your kid says, I want to go over my homegirl house. And instead of you just dropping them off, you get out the car and knock on the door. You don't give your kid their first car until they've been working for about a year. You don't give them a cell phone that has any type of internet until they turn the age of 18. See, I don't think like me. So at the end of the day, we have some reevaluating to do here. Not only about how we raise our children, but we need to be on one accord. Everybody need to be on the same accord when it comes to how you raise your kids. Because if every kid was raised the same, we wouldn't have these issues. But every kid is not raised the same. You have some parents that are honest with their kids, they're straightforward with their kids, and them the ones that actually turn out okay. It's the ones that lie to their kids, the ones that end up out here doing God knows what. You can't hide nothing from your kids in 2025. They have what's called the internet. You can't hide nothing, everything on social media. Anything you want to look for, they can find. A lot of y'all don't even have your kids' YouTube channels connected to yours. Some of y'all, the kids know how to do at 3 years old know how to do the internet better than you do. Kids can't even go outside no more and even just be outside and even have field day. We don't even have field day no more for these kids no more. So if you want to know why our kids are overweight, let's get into it. Back in the day when I was a kid, we had community centers where kids were out there playing field day every single year in school. At the end of the year, they have field day. They don't have field day because these kids are so mentally, no, not even mentally, emotionally unstable. These kids can't even play kickball without being emotional. They can't even play dodgeball because they're not even taught how to play together, how to understand that sports is not that deep. Because you got parents that think that even as a kid, sports is that deep. So these kids are violent. Then not only that, half of these parents, some of these parents ain't even the example of what being a great parent is. So when you talk about recovery is in the following order. The first thing you got to do before you do anything else is spiritually. You got to be spiritually right. And that means you got to make a very serious choice. Either you're going to be a person of God or whether you're going to be a person that is of man. You just got to make a choice. Either you're going to do the right thing at all times or you ain't going to do it at all. Or you're going to do it and take everything that comes with it. That's the first thing. The first thing is being one with the higher power, regardless of what your religion is, spirituality is, it don't matter. You being one with the higher power and you say, I done been in this world, I done it all, and I realize that it ain't worth it. Because all these people that have caused damage in your life are no longer there. All the people that used you, manipulated, bamboozled, led you astray are no longer in your life now. They serve their purpose to suck the life out of you. So I'm going to get to that in a minute when it comes to sucking the life out of people. So the first part of recovery is coming back to the higher power and say, here, I'm all yours. Use me as a vessel. I relinquish all the negativity. I repent for my wrongs. I ask for forgiveness. And you start learning the correct way to be a godly person. And let God show you that. Or whatever your religion or spirituality is. That is the first thing. Spiritual repentance. Asking God for forgiveness for the fact that you allowed people to lead you astray. The fact that you allowed these people to make you go against everything that is right to do something wrong. Then you ask God to show you the truth about how to help people, the truth about how to be a godly person in this world that we're in right now, and God will show it to you. Because let me tell you what I learned. Number one, nobody in that Bible ever lowered themselves to build somebody else up. Number two, all they did was tell people, talk. They never actually did for the other person. You ain't never seen Jesus ever lower himself to build somebody else up. Ever. Even when Jesus was healing the sick, he never lowered himself to build somebody else up. Ever. So I want people to understand that is the first thing that God taught me. You don't never lower yourself for people that will never lower themselves for you. Number two, you don't give your blessings to a non-believer. You don't never give your blessings to a manipulator. Anybody that's negative, you do not have to do anything to prove yourself to them people. I don't care how they look. I don't care how much money they got. If somebody says, if you love me, you have sex with me, I'm sorry, that goes against everything that is of God, and I'm not doing it. And I don't care how many ways they come at you. I don't care how many ways they say it. No, absolutely not. There's no way in the, I'm not doing it. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. It ain't right. I'm not doing it. I don't care how many ways a negative person come to you. Your answer is still no. No matter what. There is nothing they can do to make you go against doing what's right. Nothing. If you saying you're not having sex till marriage, you stand on that. And I mean you stand on business. If you saying that you're not going to associate with people that is going to lead you astray, then you don't. There is nothing nobody can say to you. I don't care if you call me a lame. I don't care if you call me, oh, you're scared. Nope. I'm more scared of God than I am of you. I am more worried about God's wrath than I am yours. Because let me break something down to y'all, true story. I promised God I was going to be celibate. I've been celibate for almost 8 years. Okay. I broke myself. No, in 2017 and 2019, it was longer than that. Yeah, 2017. 2017, I decided to be celibate because the last time I had sex with somebody, I almost couldn't breathe. And I don't know if it was that he had sex with another female, but I learned something that day. That when you're having sex with somebody, you have what's called soul ties. So if you have sex with a man or a woman, they have sex with somebody else, you're gonna feel all their energy from that other woman on that man, between what's between their legs, because of what's being inseminated. So apparently, he must have been with somebody who was mad that day. I couldn't breathe. I felt like I could not breathe, and I had to literally stop. And I said I was going celibate after that. Why? Because I said I was going celibate and I broke my celibacy. And every time I broke my celibacy, I felt horrible the next day. And that was God saying, you broke your promise to me. You think God don't make you suffer because you broke promises to him? Y'all break promises to him every single day when y'all sit up there and say, I'm not going to do this no more. Then don't do it. There should be no reason why you should do something negative unless you're fighting for your life. Unless you absolutely have no choice, meaning somebody putting their hands on you. No matter what, your faith in God should never waver. Regardless what your religion is, your faith in a higher power shouldn't waver because things go wrong. There's a reason why you're alone. Man is lying to y'all about being alone because being alone has been the best thing that happened to me. Why? Because if I want to get up and do something, I can do what I want to, and there's nobody standing in the way and telling me that I can't. Number one. Number two, nobody's impacted and affected by what I do because I'm by myself. Number three, everything falls on me. So I have to do right. See, when you got somebody else with you, you ain't got to do right. And I learned that the reason y'all want people around you is because when y'all do something stupid and dumb, you want them to take the fall for it. Oh, yeah, I picked up on that. You want somebody to take the fall for you. So if you do something stupid, you ain't going down by yourself. That's why y'all want people around you. Because then you have to look yourself in the mirror and then you don't like what you see. That's why a lot of y'all be using people that got themselves together and coming to them sitting at home playing the PlayStation all day. There's 5 people that you ain't supposed to help. 5. Number 1 is people that are non-believers. Number 2, sloth, lazy people. Lazy, irresponsible people. 3rd, people that know it all, that think they know everything. Number 4, people that basically, essentially are leeches that take advantage of you, users. The 5th one that you ain't supposed to be dealing with is abusers. Those 5 people, you ain't supposed to help in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Because you ain't doing nothing but building them for somebody else. And you lowering yourself in the process. That is why so many of y'all are not where y'all need to be because you're too busy being Captain Save-A-Hoe. Build-A-Bears, Build-A-Dolls, seed fillers, people pleasers. Yeah, this live is going to hit a lot of people in the head. So to recover, you got to learn spiritually how to move into this world and remain a positive person in a negative world of chaos. You got to be able to be in negativity and sit in and just sit there and be like, are you done? It should be to the point if somebody says something negative to you, you'll be like, are you done? Do you feel better now that you said all of that? If you'll excuse me, I have to leave. Let me tell you something about negative people. And I'm gonna put you on some game as somebody that is fully, completely a person of God at this point. Because I made that choice. You can say everything negative under the sun. And then after you get done talking, I'm gonna walk away from you. And not even say 2 words. If anything, I'm just gonna educate you. Because the minute you say something negative, I'm walking away from you anyway. I don't care if I've been with you for 2 years. The minute you say something negative, I am walking away from you, packing my stuff, and I'm leaving. The minute you say something negative, I'm just going to like, well, you have a nice day and walk away. And let me break down why negative people don't like that. The one thing that negative people don't like is when you say, are you done? When you have no reaction. Because see, the whole point of negative people is they want to take you off your throne. They want to take you off your crown. They want to make it so they can prove that you're a negative person. Because see, when a positive person reacts to a negative person, it's worse because you know better. You know better. But we're not taught how to deal with negative people. Well, guess what? Today, I'm going to teach you how to deal with negative people. So for those of y'all who don't know, I'm actually a coach. This is what I teach my clients. Before you go back out there and recover yourself, you're going to remain recovered. Because the one thing you ain't doing, you ain't going back to your old ways. You ain't going back to your old habits. And you certainly are not going to care whether or not you get rejected, whether people accept you. You don't care. If you get rejected, okay, cool. That ain't meant for me. If I don't get a job, okay, cool. I ain't worried about it. I ain't panicking. I'll just create something that is my own. And that's what they don't want you to do. See, by you being rejected, that means you're meant to create something that is of your own. But see, that ain't the way society tells you. Society tells you, no, just keep on, because they don't want you to create nothing of your own. Because if everybody named mama was to create something of their own, you wouldn't have workers. Everybody would be making their own money. They don't want that. That's why they don't want individuality. That's why they don't want thinkers. That's why they always say you need to be based upon your emotions and you need to be emotional. Emotional for what? That's why people commit crimes, because they're emotional. That's why people don't think before they act, and they don't think about the consequences and repercussions and karma they action, because they don't think. They react. I mean, your whole 95% of your body is based upon feeling. Your whole body is based on how you feel. So when I had chronic pain, and I still have chronic pain, but it's a lot better than what it was. But when I couldn't walk and I couldn't feel my legs at one time because something happened, I don't even know how it happened. Blood wasn't circulating in my body from somewhere. In 1998, I had 2 car accidents, not even 8 hours apart. Left the hospital, got into another accident. Probably didn't go back to the hospital. But anyway, the one thing I learned is that blood circulation is very important. So when it comes to blood circulation of the body, it comes from movement. So if you're not moving and you're sitting still, you get stiff. And I know because it happens to me all the time. So when I get really, really stiff, it's hard for me to move. And I have to get up and walk around. But my whole lower back hurts because I'm sitting all day. You're not supposed to be sitting all day. You ain't supposed to be in front of a computer all day. That ain't healthy. We are human beings. We're no different than animals. We're mammals. We're supposed to be out there in the wild. We ain't supposed to be in front of computers. We ain't supposed to be working. We ain't supposed to be doing none of this stuff. We just supposed to build, get some land, build, grow our own food, and live prosperously. Money was the problem. When money was introduced to society, that's when it became greed. 7 deadly sins. So, from a health perspective, when it comes to recovery, that starts spiritually. Once you learn spiritually the correct way to be and what being a godly person is, what giving means, what tithes, and when you learn all this stuff, not from the church, but from God or whatever your spirituality, whatever your religion is, Then it's the second part, mentally. Now, mental and psychological go hand in hand, because mental is more so if you're an overthinker, or if, for example, when it comes to the way you think, meaning the information you consume. Okay. So mentally, everything you consume, everything your five senses presents to you goes to your brain. And your brain dissects what you see, hear, touch, taste, and smell. Point blank, period. So mentally, you're dissecting all of these things. But you're also, the thing that's missing is we don't research. Now, when you were a kid, right? And you remember how you were taught what things were, labels, and what things were. Well, as an adult, by now you should know what this stuff is, unless you can't speak the language or whether you really don't know what it is. But I don't have to go in the grocery store and know what pickles are, because I know what pickles are. I've seen them. I know what they look like. So it's not like I don't know what pickles are. But that doesn't mean that I don't have to look at the back of the bottle to see what ingredients is in it. So you still have to research. Even though you may know what it is, you still got to research anyway. Because every pickle is not the same. Every pickle is not made the same. Some have less, some have more ingredients, so on and so forth. Even though you've made cookies dozens of times, don't mean you still don't have to look at the recipe to make sure that you're not missing something. So when you make decisions mentally, and your actions and your behavior, your choices and decisions, you have to research first. You cannot make a decision without researching. You have to look at every single solitary possibility, negative, positive. You got to look at who's involved, what the consequences, repercussions, and karmas are. Critical thinking, common sense, and common judgment. Morals, values, principles, and ethics, pros and cons is what you're going to have to look at. If all of that is not looked at before you make a decision, then you're going off psychological, which is emotional. When you make emotional decisions, it's some of the dumbest decisions you make. If you make decisions based on how you feel, that's why you're going through what you're going through. Because you're not seeing things for what they are. Because the one thing about feelings is you can't see nothing. Your feelings do not see anything. It goes off your feelings, which is your body. Instincts. So feelings are nothing but the way you react to things, the way your body reacts to things, not mentally, the way your body reacts to it. So for example, if something's going in your ears and somebody says something and you don't like what they're saying, ain't you reacting? Because it went into your ears, correct? When you taste something and it tastes bitter, you don't like it, you react to it. When you touch something and you don't like it, you react to it. You smell or you see something. That's how your feelings work. Mentally, you have no feelings. Your emotions come from dopamine. Dopamine is where your feelings come from. So when you feel something and you're happy, that's because something is making you pleasantly feel good. But it's not mentally, it's physically. Emotions are physical, not mental. They're physical. There is no mental emotions because you have none. Your mind feels nothing. It's a brain. It's just blood and information goes through it and it processes it. But when it comes to feelings, that's why you react and behave the way you do. Because of the fact of the way something makes you feel. But if you don't learn to think first and process it first before you react to it, then you're reacting for something you probably shouldn't have reacted to in the first place. Would you remember when I said now the negative people say something, I say, are you done? Do you feel better now that you said all that? Because now emotions, when it comes to other people, the minute you say something negative to me, I don't value you at this point. Your what you feel means nothing to me. You come at me in a negative way, I'm just going to walk away from you and call it a day. Why? Because negativity does not faze me. Because I'm just looking at you like, you don't even know me, but yet you're judging me and don't even know me. If you are a person of God, number one, you ain't going to just judge, you're going to research. So when I respond to people, while you're talking to me, I am processing everything you say, not even having a reaction to it. I'm just listening to you. And then when you get done, if I start crying, you might want to run because I'm a cry. But while I'm sitting there crying, I'm going to bust you in your behind because the words that's going to come out my mouth going to be more lethal than anything you just said. Not only that, if you know you can beat the person that you're looking at and you know you can destroy that person, just walk away. Just walk away. Because there are people that have a power of the tongue, and when I tell you, they can destroy everything you stand on. When I tell you they can make you want to put their hands on you, they're gonna make you want to end they're gonna make you want to end their life. This person is deadly when it comes to the tongue. The power, they know the power of their tongue. But instead of using it on you because they know you're beneath them intellectually wise, they're not gonna say nothing to you. They just gonna walk off. And then I'm gonna tell you what negative person gonna do. Why? What you mean to tell me you ain't got nothing to say? You're not gonna argue with me? Argue with you for what? You trying to tell my life story like you know what it is. You have it all figured out, don't you? Why in the world am I gonna sit up there and change your perspective? Because negative people, I don't care how many ways you prove to them they lying. You prove to them they wrong. They still gonna keep the same narrative. They gonna still keep the same narrative. No matter what, they're gonna keep the same narrative. So no matter if you sit there and you prove that a negative person is lying, people are still gonna be dumb enough to believe them. If you look at Nicki Minaj, for example, no matter what nobody says about Nicki, even though Nicki is off her hinges, people say Nicki's off her rocker. Nicki can sit up, they can say Nicki's all kind of things, but they still gonna rock with her. No matter what. Even if they know she wrong, they never gonna tell her she wrong. And that is why I don't waste my time with negative people. Because if you already got it in your mind what you think, there is nothing I can say or do that's gonna change your mind. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just gonna walk off. That ain't what they want. Negative people want you to react to them. So let me tell you how it all starts with negative people. I'm gonna give you some game, and this is based on my own recovery. Number one, they coming at you. They don't know you. They know nothing about you. They always go after people that don't fit society standards. People that are overweight, people that wear glasses, people that are nerds. They always go after people who they think are lower than them, that don't fit society standards. And so what they do is, and I taught my son this at a very young age. With kids, it's easier because they don't know better. They're not taught emotional intelligence. They're not taught how to deal with negative people. They're not taught that. They're not taught how critical thinking, common sense, and common judgment. So they're not taught the thinking process. So they're emotional. So you got a bully a jock that's messing with a nerd for what? What are you messing with a nerd for? Because he's smarter than you? You have no reason to mess with this child, but you're messing with him anyway. All because you want to bully somebody because you ain't got nothing else to do. And then when that child start breaking down your childhood, breaking down the fact that in your home, and they start putting all your stuff out there, then you get mad because this child destroyed and embarrassed you. Now you want to fight the child and end up taking their life. Why? Because they embarrassed you, but it was okay when you were doing it to them. But when that person finally gets sick and tired of you messing with them, and they finally whoop your behind, then guess who gonna end up getting in trouble? The kid, they finally got sick and tired, And now they're in trouble. When they've been telling everybody from the beginning, this person has been messing with them for months. They've been telling the teacher this child has been messing with them for months. And now this child who finally says, you know what? I've had enough of you, to taekwondo and hits you. Now they're in trouble. For no reason. They're in trouble. And for what? All because they defended themselves. All because they were sick and tired of being bullied. And yet they're the ones getting in trouble. The one that sees their child being the MO word with their boyfriend messing with their child. And they end up defending their child and they go into jail. They end up going to jail. And this is why, no matter what you do in this society, you cannot outdo negativity. You got to keep it away from you. Point blank, period. You got to keep it away from you. You got to stay away from it. Because it's one thing if you get sick. That is one thing. It is one thing if you accidentally swallowed something. But there are things that can be avoided when it comes to negative things in people. And I need y'all to understand, negative people, their whole entire goal is to lower you. Their whole entire goal is to embarrass you. Their whole entire goal is to make you do something out of character as a godly person to basically make them into a victim. That's all they want to be, is victims. So when I came to this realization and God taught me that, when God said, no, baby girl, the only reason they're coming for you is because you have a light. Because you got money, you're successful. And you see it even today, the way people go after celebrities. So I'm going to use Aaron Pierre and Tiana Taylor. When they got together, everybody was congratulating them. And of course, you had negative people. You got Megan Thee Stallion and the guy that she's dating. Oh, it's only going to last 6 weeks. So negative people want you to be on social media and put everything out there. They want you to show what you have. They want you to be all dressed up because that's who you're attracting. You're attracting negative people, not godly people. There was a guy that was on the balloon show, and he told this girl that I popped my balloon because what you got on is attracting men that only see you for sex. She didn't even listen to what he said, but he was right. She was absolutely correct. You are what you attract. If you go out there with a harlot Jezebel way of dressing, you're going to attract the men that you don't want. But see, what society tells you is, oh, these fine dudes are attracted to me. Honey, those are wolves in sheep's clothing. Those are the ones that dogs. You are attracting dogs. If you look at the way a female dog is, or if you look at the way that animals actually, when they mate, how they do, they don't look, they're dogs, they're animals. There's nothing different between one animal or another one, except one may be bigger, one may be smaller. But other than that, animals don't care about what the other will look like. What matters is the confidence that lioness has, or that female cheetah has, is confidence. So it's amazing how animals are attracted to confidence, and yet men are attracted to Jezebels. So you don't want a lioness, you want a harlot. Oh, okay. So I'm really trying to understand. We are also mammals. So as mammals, we are no different than lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. So I'm trying to understand, how is it that animals, even though we've seen the Lion King and we've seen some backstabbing, we've seen it. Even with animals, we've seen it. But still, they're in tribes. And we don't see a lion having multiple wives. You don't see a giraffe having more than one wife. Oh, okay. So when you're going through recovery, critical thinking gonna play a very, very big part of that. Because when you go back in the world, you're gonna be dissecting stuff until you can't dissect it no more. And if any of y'all have ever been on my channel, then you know I dissect things. Even with the Country Wayne skits, I dissect everything. I look at every way, every which way. It's not that I'm thinking that something is right or wrong. Is I look at it in multiple different ways because it can go multiple different ways. So let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, in the Country Wayne skits, Sonny and Mike. I'm gonna use that for an example because when I get home Saturday, I will be doing a panel on the Country Wayne skits. Over here, it ain't based on feeling. It is based on us dissecting the Country Wayne skits until we can't dissect it no more. We look at everything. We look at every single side of the Country Wayne skits, and we look at it from the negative and the positive, the coulda, shoulda, wouldas, based on information, knowledge, intellect, and education, based upon, critical thinking, common sense, and common judgment, morals, values, principles, and ethics, and weighing the pros and cons. But most importantly, consequences, repercussions, and karma. That is the one thing, and I mean the first thing that comes to my brain. What is the consequences, repercussions? Not by you, but by God. I was like, if I do this, how is God going to feel about this? Not you. How is God going to feel about it? Or whatever my spirituality or religion is. Because God be like, nope, I don't want you to do that. Okay, I ain't going to do it. And you ain't even got to tell me twice. If God said, look, I want you to stay home today. You don't need to go out there. Honey, I remember one day I was going to go out somewhere and God said, no, you need to stay home. I stayed home. And a car accident ended up happening. So, honey, I listen. When God tell me don't go nowhere, don't do something, I don't go. When God said, look, I need you to get up in the morning, I need you to speak, I get up and I speak, no questions asked. But here's the next thing in recovery that I learned spiritually. What is the difference between what God is bringing me and what the devil is bringing me? Which one is the difference? What is the difference? So how do I know when God is bringing me people and things in my life and what the devil is bringing into my life? Okay? That is the second thing that God teaches you. Because if you don't know the difference between what God is bringing you and what the devil is bringing you or trying to bring into your world, then you're going to bring the wrong side into your world. Because if you base things based on attraction, you bringing in demonic people. And I'm not lying to you on that. If you basing it on sex and you basing it on what somebody look like, you bringing in some of the most demonic entities with that person. Not saying that person is a bad person, but they may have demons attached to them because of the people they've been with before. You're bringing somebody lazy in, you bringing in laziness into your home. So the reason why you get into your home and you let somebody come in your house and they have negativity, get out my house. So if you come to my house and I sense negativity, before we get started, I'm gonna pray on you. And they be like, what? I'm praying on you because whatever negativity you got on you, I don't want it in my house. I don't want it in my house. So if you come in with negativity, you got to go. Because it can be in somebody's attitude. It can be in somebody the way they look. No, we ain't doing that. Not around me. It's just like if I go on vacation and I'm going with a group of friends, don't bring that with me. Don't bring that into my house. Don't bring that when I go on vacation. So you're going to know the difference between negative energy and positive energy. So you can't go off your feelings when it comes to the people you choose. You have to go off their energy. You have to go off when they say something to you. When you meet them, you better start looking into them immediately. Looking their friends, their family. Matter of fact, you ain't even supposed to be looking at them in a romantic way. You're supposed to be looking at them as a friend. Let me explain why I say this. When you look at somebody as somebody you don't know, don't even look at them in an attractive way. You look at them like, I don't know you. I don't know where you gonna fit into my world, but I got to get to know you mentally first. I got to know how you make decisions. I have to know how you go about things and how what you got going on is going to impact me. Not even in front of my face, but also behind your back. I want to see how you treat your mama, your daddy, your friends, your jobs. I want to know spiritually how you make decisions. Not emotionally, how spiritually you make decisions. Is God have everything in it? Does God have everything to do with every decision you make? Or are you feeding into the devil? Because I promise you, if you do, you're staying away from me. Do you remember Save the Last Dance? And this is where I got that from. Do you remember his sister kept telling him, and Julia kept telling him, you don't need to go with him. Something about him ain't right. And you remember she was supposed to perform, and he ended up going with Fred Star. And you remember he got there and was getting ready to get in the car. He said, don't you want to do enough? Don't you want to go another way? Do you really want to do this? Dude, I have a feeling something bad gonna happen. He didn't go. So even though he got there, he didn't go. What happened? They ended up going to jail. He'd have been right along with them if he wouldn't have thought about what she said. So again, you can be at a situation and be there and can turn around and say, I ain't doing it, and walk out. You have time until you act on it to change your mind. You have all the way up until you say no. It's just like when it comes to sex. You can be alone with somebody, and then you might decide you want to do it, and then you stop yourself and you say no. But see, the problem is with that, you got somebody stronger than you, and you're alone. And you're not going to be able to stop the person because they're stronger than you. And you told them no. And when you deal with somebody that cannot take no for an answer, that's a dangerous thing. So before you get alone with a man, you better make sure you want to have sex with that man. And that is something that God taught me. I am not alone with a man unless I'm going to have sex with him. Unless it's family or somebody I've been around for years. But if it's somebody I just met, they will not come to my house. We will never be anywhere privately. We will only be somewhere in public. Why? Because why am I going to be alone with you? Because if I say no, I don't want to have sex, and then you continue to pursue it, that's how I ended up getting sexually assaulted in a hotel room, and then I got sexually assaulted and beaten on in my own house when I was 17 and 18. So if you don't want to be alone with a man and have sex with a man, don't be alone with him at all. And that's what being a godly woman is. A godly woman is you're never going to be alone with a man at your house. No. Unless you want to take it there and you want to take it to that next step. No. 2, if you are having somebody at the house, please make sure you're fully dressed. Make sure you are fully dressed and make sure you don't look like you're screaming that. So again, once you get into that spiritual realm, the rest of it, the losing weight, the health part, the psychological, the financial, all of that will work itself out. But you got to be spiritually right first. You got to make the right decisions. Because once you make the right decisions and you stick to that, you do that the rest of your life. It doesn't change. You don't change and adapt except physically. So let me explain that. When it comes to losing weight, you've been bamboozled. Losing weight is not about just exercise. I hate the word diet because that let me break something about society and let me be frank. It is not about permanent solutions, it's about temporary solutions. When I got sick and I started going through what I was going through, I realized that it's about a permanent solution. And that means whatever I start, I continue doing that for the rest of my life. Now, I may have to try different products, but I'm still doing the same regimen. For example, let's say I have, okay, when I get home, I'm going to use myself for example. When I get home, I'm not eating any processed foods, none, except anything that has 5 ingredients that I actually understand. Number one. Number two, I have a protein shake in the morning or a smoothie in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I have my first meal of the day after 16 hours of fasting after 6 o'clock. Don't eat nothing past 6 o'clock. Number three, I meal prep. I meal prep for 3 days, and then I meal prep everything for the next 4 days. So, for example, I'm not going to meal prep for the whole entire week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to meal prep for 3 days. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast will be the only thing I probably will not meal prep because I like eggs. So I'm not going to meal prep breakfast. But I will cut up everything that I'll make for an omelet or I'll make for scrambled eggs. I like to make my scrambled eggs with tomatoes, mushrooms, onions. I made like a scrambled omelet, so to speak. So I'm going to have a scrambled omelet. If I have a waffle, then it's something I make by scratch, meaning I use flour. I make my own stuff like that. I might make my own noodles, like Nara Smith does. Make my own noodles, make my own desserts by scratch. Make my own breads. I'm getting a bread maker, but I also can make cakes in there too from scratch. And all you gotta do is put the ingredients in there, and it makes itself. I ain't gotta do none of that other stuff. Which thank God for that. So I would do that. So I'm pretty much meal prepping 2 days out of the week. So in other words, first 2 days I might make dinner for 2 days. And then I might make something the next 2 days. And then the next 2 days, and then the next 2 days, and the next 2 days. But I'm not cooking every single day. But I'm cooking every 2 days. Every 2 to 3 days. So that's just an example. So when it comes to products, that's different. You might take your vitamin K, your vitamin D medications, your immune medications, your supplements, but you might take that supplement and it may not work. So you may have to switch for another brand. So you're still doing the same regimen, you're just doing a different brand. So that's what I mean. You're still doing the same thing. You're just doing a different brand and you're switching things up a little bit. That's pretty much about it. So when it comes to health and wellness, it's a regimen that you do every single day. You stick to it for the rest of your life. You do not stop doing it because you lose weight. Because this is where everybody go wrong. You lose weight and you stop doing it because you're not looking at it from a health perspective. You're looking at it as, I'm going to attract a man. I'm going to get married. I'm doing it because I want to be society's standard of beauty. That's not why you lose weight. That's not why you remain healthy. Because even people that are smaller are still unhealthy. You still got people that are small that are diabetic. You still got people that are small that now have liver disease because they were alcoholics. People that were drug addicts. So people are not healthy because of your weight. You are healthy because of the frame of mind that you got and your actions, your choices, your decisions, and your behavior. That is why you are healthy. for no other reason than that. So being healthy is a lifestyle. Being healthy is forever. That is why we're not living past 100, because we're not making the right decisions, and we're not maintaining our recovery. We're not maintaining anything. We're just obtaining it but not maintaining it. And maintaining something is extremely important. You have to maintain things. Because you can obtain things all day, it doesn't mean that you maintain them. So recovery is about remaining recovered. It's not just a temporary fix, it's a permanent fix that's going to work for you, that you do the rest of your life. And that's what I do as a coach. There is no more temporary fixes. It's a permanent fix to a problem. It's just like if you got roaches, for example. One roach come in your house, next thing you know, you have a dozen. And you're trying to get rid of all of these roaches and you don't know how to get rid of them. And you get rid of some of them, you spray, and they still keep coming back. Well, guess what? That's you. You and all of these things that are happening to you, all this trauma, pain, depression, anxiety, all of the things that are happening is no different than those roaches. So even though you get rid of one roach, here come 10, 15 more. You get rid of, 10, 20 of them, here come 1,000 of them. Well, guess what? That's how negativity comes at you in the same way. It comes at you in the same aspect. But if you get rid of them in one swoop, if you find out where those roaches primarily are at, and you get the queen, or you give them something to take back, it's going to unalive all of them. So you have to get something that's going to unalive all of the stuff: trauma, depression, anxiety, pesticides, bacteria. You got to get rid of all of it, which means you have to cleanse everything internally. That means no sex. When you are trying to recover physically, let me break down how this works. There's absolutely no sex at all while you're going through this cleanse. There's another reason where people screw up at, because you're still inserting energy. You got to get away from everybody, which means you got to be alone or be around people that's on the same journey as you through your recovery and healing. You got to get rid of all the negative people in your life. You got to cleanse everything. Cleanse your friends, your family. You have to cleanse your finances. You have to cleanse your internal health. Means parasites, bacteria, fat. You got to cleanse all of that. And once you cleanse it, you have to maintain that cleanse. That part. You got to maintain that cleanse. So that means whoever you have sex with, whoever you bring into your world, need to understand you just went through a cleanse. You have to cleanse yourself of everything. You have to deprogram yourself mentally, psychologically, emotionally. You have to, all the negativity, everything that you feeling, you got to cleanse. You got to relinquish it. You got to let it go. That's how recovery is. It's a full cleanse. It ain't just, okay, I'm gonna lose weight, but you're not dealing with your mental issues. You're not cleansing all of that. Do you think there's not fat in your mind? You think your mind's not on overload? You have to cleanse yourself spiritually to cleanse everything else. So once you cleanse yourself spiritually, and you say, I relinquish negativity and I rebuke negativity and I send it back from which came. Send it back from which came. So every time somebody says something negative, say, I rebuke negativity and send it back where it came, because it don't belong here and I'm never going to accept it. That's how you block the power of words, because you don't have to accept it. Words are only powerful if you acknowledge it. If you consume and acknowledge it, then it becomes a problem if you react to it. So you can consume anything as long as you don't acknowledge it and as long as you don't react to it. So you determine what you react to. So once you become recovered in all of these aspects, the new person you're going to become is to remain that. And that means everything that you did to cleanse yourself spiritually, emotionally, sexually, you have to continue to do. Your mind frame, researching, everyday learning, every day, learning how to maintain it. So every day you're researching. Every time you go to bed, you always say to yourself, this is what I learned today. God, this is what I learned today. This is what you taught me today. You may say to yourself, okay, these are my short-term, long-term goals. Now you got to figure out how to stick to it. Once you learn how to stick to it, you're going to remain doing that the rest of your life. It ain't temporary. This is permanent things that you're going to do to maintain all the healing and all the recovery that you've done. And that is the goal of me as a coach, not to give you temporary fixes, permanent things that you will be doing the rest of your life. So instead of you saying coulda, shoulda, woulda, you actually did. It ain't no coulda, shoulda, woulda because you actually did. Because now them coulda, shoulda, wouldas are now going to be reality. So now all of this, I should have did this when I was younger. Nope, you actually are going to do it. This sitting around waiting for somebody to go on a trip with you, just get up and go by yourself. You're going to learn how to pay attention to your surroundings. You're going to learn how to sit, close your eyes, and you ain't even got to look behind you to know somebody's behind you. You won't be in tune because you're going to open your third eye. And I'm telling you, when you open your third eye, and my head is going to probably hurt when I say this, when you open your third eye, everything, and I mean everything opens. Because here's the thing. You have the answers. They're in your brain. You just got to relinquish it. Once I did that and I opened my third eye, I ain't been the same since. Because I ain't even got to read a book to know what the book is about. I ain't even got to look at something to know what it's about. I just watch it just to see if I'm right. So information is not about right or wrong. It's about if you made the right choice, decision, action, and behavior. That's the question. What makes things right or wrong is not the information itself. It's about if it works for you or not. So whatever choice you make is what makes it right or wrong. If you did it just because of your feelings and because the way it made you feel, and you did it and it didn't work out well, then it was wrong. But just because somebody says something does not make it wrong. It don't. It just depends on how you take it. What makes it wrong or right is how you take it. It's how you take the information that's given to you. That's what it's about. So when you heal and you recover, it's not about a temporary fix. It's just like when you have people say, I'm trying to lose 20 pounds, and then you lose 20 pounds, and then you slack up and you stop doing it because you lost 20 pounds, and then you gain the weight. Then you get into this relationship and y'all break up, you start back eating, and then now you done gained the 20 pounds right back. Why? Because you didn't stick to what you did to keep it, to maintain it. Everything is about maintenance. Once you make a decision, it's about maintaining that decision. Now, when it comes to things that are negative, you better your best bet would be not even get involved. But some people do. But you have up until you act on it to say no. But it shouldn't even get to that point. It shouldn't be saying no after you done unalive somebody and now you going to prison and now you feel bad about it. No. Don't feel bad about it now because you already acted on it. And now you got to deal with the consequences and repercussions and karma of your action, behavior, choice, and decisions. No, it doesn't work like that. And that's why I don't feel sorry for people. Because if you acted on it knowing it was wrong, you know unaliving somebody is wrong. You know stealing from somebody is wrong. Then why do you do it? A lot of y'all don't even know why you do it. And then what's crazy is you can't even keep what you stole. And then the blood from that person's hands is going to be on your hands the rest of your life. And you did it for what? Because you wanted what you wanted, J. Scott Farron. I want what I want, and I want it now. I don't care who I want, who I hurt. I'm just going to use and take advantage of it. I'm not going to go out there and get it myself, but I'm just going to take from somebody else. You can't be serious. And then y'all wonder why people like myself hold y'all accountable and why I hold y'all to the fire. Y'all don't understand that you do things, but you don't want to take what come with it, or you want somebody else to take the fall for you. No, you did what you did. Take everything that come with it. You did that negative. Take everything that come with it. It ain't no I'm feeling sorry for you. I'm gonna let you drop. And the one thing that I learned very seriously as a godly person is I'm gonna let negative people hit rock bottom. Because why they need to hit rock bottom. That's why negative people continue to do the stuff they do, because they don't hit rock bottom. Somebody is always there thinking they're better than the last person when you ain't. You are not better than the last person before them, before you. That last person thought the same way you did. They thought the exact same way you did. And now, here we are. There were other people that thought the same thing that you did. They were helping the person. No. You hindering yourself. You helping them, but that person, man, y'all have no idea. I look at all my exes, except one, that actually changed his life. And that's my son's father. He's the only one that actually changed his life for the better. The rest of them are still the same, and these females be thinking they can change them. And I just be sitting there like, girl, as many women before you that thought the same thing. And that's what you need to understand. Why is it this person ain't where they need to be? You need to start talking to their exes, because you're going to find out, hey, Sonny, you're going to find out that their exes was just like you. That's just like when it comes to me, if I'm dating somebody and I find out that man is cheating on me, the first thing I'm going to do, and this just being real, is I'm going to ask the girl, what has that man said about me? I don't care about the fact they cheated. I want to know what he told her about me. If he trashed me, saying I don't do this for him and I don't do that for him, oh, he ain't got to worry about me no more. I'm going to let her have him. I'm going to let her have him. Because by the time I get finished with him, he ain't going to have nothing to give her. Because when I tell you I'm going to take it all, I'm going to take it all. And then I might just walk away with nothing. God may say, look, just walk away with nothing. I don't want nothing from you. So I walk away with nothing. But really, am I really walking away with something? Walking away with nothing? No. I'm walking away with my dignity, and I'm walking away with my last name. And being that I'm successful, because see, here's the thing. While this man is cheating, I'm building something. He just don't know I'm building something. So then when I get it all built and all done, when I leave him, I'll still be in the industry. Why? Because I didn't give up nothing for him. I didn't lower myself. I didn't become a housewife. I was a businesswoman when I met him. So at the end of the day, I walk away with what I came with. He walks away with what he came with. We split the houses. We split everything, and he can have them. Because the only thing that girl going to do is suck the life out of him. All she going to do is spend his money. If you look at Travis Hunter's wife, she already trying to divorce that man. Already. Trying to divorce him. And they ain't even married 6 months. She married him so she could have his income. $46 million. She gets half of that. Half of his income. Because he didn't sign a prenup. He's screwed. But for my podcast, y'all, I want to thank y'all for joining me for this episode. I know I did this longer than what I was supposed to, but I wanted to incorporate everything in this podcast. So this is going on all of my podcasts. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Without y'all, there is no me. I'd be nothing without y'all. And I will see y'all when my tooth get better after my, mouth heals and all. But I just wanted to do this podcast so I can put it on all of my podcasts, all in one. There will be some guests on my podcast, and I'll be telling y'all about that later on, who all is coming on the podcast and what podcast they're coming on. So that being said, I love you guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for joining me for this episode, and I will see y'all next time.